And good morning, everyone. This is the Morning Blitz Sports Talk. This is July 18th, 2025 at 9 a.m. I am sorry that you don't see me per se, but I have not been feeling that too well. So I'm just deciding to just do a voice related episode as if it's old school radio. So with that being said, let's go over the no huddle news roundup. And Major League Baseball second half drama. The AL East remains tightly packed. Blue Jays lead with the Yankees, Red Sox, and the Rays all in contention. The National League East, the Mets trails Phillies by just a half a game as critical matchup looms. Big storylines include Aaron Judge and Shohei Akata chasing MVP, and Judge also contending for the Triple Crown. On the mound, AL Cy Young favorite Turkic Sergbal is facing stiff competition from Max Fry, Jacob DeGloom, and rookie Paul Skews. I am butchering names most likely. Tour de France, Stage 13 of grueling 10.9 km mountain time trial, peaking on a punishing 16% grade. Luke Platt set a strong benchmark at 24:58, while GC leader carries about 3 minutes and 31-second lead over Jonas Vangar. The Open Championship at the Royal Perth at Scotty Scheffler and Phil Mickelson are among those tied at the top after early rounds, with Rory McIlroy aiming for a comeback. Lions Tour and hurling finals. Yes, hurling. The British and Irish Lions kick off their first test against Australia in Brisbane, pivotal for the national pride. Ireland's and All Ireland hurling final set between Cork and Tipperary at Croke Park at a historic rivalry reunited. The NFL training camp buzz. Falcons open training camp to fans. Big offseason headlines include TJ Watt's Steelers extension and rookie QB Michael Penix Jr. drawing praise from Patrick Mahomes. Browns preview. Shedeur Sanders' leadership and Cedric Tillman's excitement. Headline news storylines. Bears news. Roster battles heating up as rookies Turner and Terrell aim to make early impact, and then Chiefs under scrutiny for offensive line issues raised questions despite Holmes' consistency, and rookie Bashawn Smith spotlighted. Soccer and transfers. Bayern Munich's high-profile chase for Luis Diaz stalls while Liverpool inked with Hugo. Other rumors abound across Europe. England's Lioness edged Sweden on penalties in women's Euro quarterfinals, described as more chaotic than anything anyone had seen. One championship, one Friday fights, 116 airs tonight from the Lupion Stadium in Bangkok, featuring a headline Mai Tai rematch between Adam Shore and Mohammed. On TV this morning, Tour de France Stage 3 streams at 6:30 a.m. Valid Peacock already happened. Open Championship second round also on our early USA Golf Network coverage. The AFL, IndyCar practice, NBA Soccer League, CFL flag football, and the PLL lacrosse are also on today's lineup for TV, obviously. Looking ahead, key events this week and Major League Baseball trade deadline, Euro 2025 women's semis, and a jam-packed Bay Area schedule featuring Major League Baseball, Summer Tour, Tour de France, Golf, the WNBA All-Star Weekend, and Sail GP. All right, so let's get into the NFL aspect of this. Training camp and transactions. Wide receiver Mike Williams of the Chargers has reportedly retired, shocking fans as camp approaches. The Chicago Bears signed lineman rookie Ozzie to a 4-year deal. He has to earn the start and left tackle job. Contract highlights. JT Watt, the Steelers signed a record-breaking 3-year, $123 million extension, making him the highest-paid defender and non-QB in NFL history, including $108 million fully guaranteed. On the Jets front, with a second-rounder, Alfred Collins, 49ers signing for about $10.3 million. It's expected to speed up rookie contracts for their picks like Mason Taylor. Garrett Wilson also reportedly signed an extension, and Sauce Gardner is rumored at $120. Team storylines. The Chiefs' offense under scrutiny. O-line issues and injuries have dampened their explosive reputation through rookie Breshad Smith offers hope. Defense is praised. Atlanta Falcons camp will be open to fans again with rookie QB Michael Penix Jr. drawing early praise from both Patrick Mahomes and Cam Newton. The NFL Player Association has a good shakeup going on as Lloyd Howard Jr. has resigned as executive director, and controversy involving private equity links and undisclosed decisions. The board plans to meet for the next steps. Let's get into quick hits here. The Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison resolved a DUI charge, keeping his season on track, while Rasheed Rice of the Chiefs received probation for the high-speed crash, and an NFL suspension may follow. Chargers running back Najee Harris starts camp on the NIF list due to an eye injury from 4th of July fireworks. I've already covered this yesterday about it, as the Titans defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons is back in rookie QB Cam Ward for the starting job for Week 1. NHL news, key headlines: Omaha Ducks locking future with goalie extension. Goalie Luka Dezarn signed a 5-year deal worth $32.5 million, average 6.5 million a year, solidifying the crease after John Gibson was traded. Calgary Flames keep the restricted free agents in-house. Center Royger and defensive man Jan and Jeremy Perner signed short-term deals to fight for lineup spots heading into the critical season. Charity brings NHL and the PWH Stars to Stanford. Tonight's Soldier Check game features NHL names like Trevor Jonathan Quick and Spencer Knight, raising awareness around mental health in the memory of Hayden Thorson. Must-see 2025-26 matchups revealed. Highlights include Panthers versus Oilers rematch. That already happened. Okay, I'm going to skip all this because this is old notes. I don't know why this always happens to me. All right. Here it is. This is important stuff here. Damian Lillard's returning to the Portland, 9-time All-Star. Dylan Leonard is finalizing a 3-year, $42 million deal with the Trailblazers, including a 2027 player option and no trade clause. He recently suffered a torn Achilles on April 27th and likely won't play in the 25-26, making this a long-term emotional homecoming for the 35-year-old guard. Big free agent signs. Dwayne Annan to the Lakers. Center Annan has signed a 2-year, $16.2 million deal with LA. Analysts are calling it one of the best offseason pickups of 2025. His revival opportunity under the spotlight. Miles Turner to the Bucks. Milwaukee Turner to a 4-year, $107 million deal to bolster their interior defense after multiple early playoff exits. More team news. Cole Anthony signs with the Bucks. The Bucks acquired guard Cole Anthony following Allen's wave stretch, aiming to inject youth and playmaking into their backcourt. Denver makes roster tweaks. The Nuggets acquired Johannes and trade Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson while signing veterans Tim Holloway Jr. and Bruce Brown, part of a strategic shift around the Jukev. Jonathan Kennard on the move. Restricted free agent buzz surrounds Kumanga, I can't pronounce this guy's name, with the Suns and the Bulls reportedly exploring a sign and trade with Golden State. Okay. Trading section spotlights 7. Where is it? Historically 17 blockbuster move. Kevin Garnett from Phoenix to Houston, centered around a major shift in Jalen Green heading to Phoenix. Okay, championship era extensions. You have Sean Alexander re-ups with the Thunder on a 4-year, $285 million supermax. Jarlin Jackson Jr. secures a 5-year, $240 million extension with Memphis, and Jacob Pearl got a 4-year, $104 million deal with Toronto. Okay, all right. Let's see. We have Major League Baseball. Here we go. Trade deadline buzz as July 31st looms. Here we go. Brian Hayes trade rumors heating up around the Pirates Gold Glove third baseman. Pittsburgh is expected to sell and Hayes, despite a .238, .284, and the .293 slash, is drawing serious interest from contenders like the Yankees, Tigers, and Cubs, with a 50 to 60% likelihood of a actual move. God damn, I cannot pronounce these people's last name. Former Seattle Cy Young winner, struggling in Miami with a 7.22 era, but the Yankees are eyeing him as a sleek rotation depth. Marlins might trade him or stick with him if they believe he'll bounce back. The Cubs are reportedly targeting a powerful 31 home run Diamondback slugger, .889 ops. He'll be a rental, but prime for contenders like Chicago, New York, and Detroit. Mitch Keller. Yankees also have eyes on the Pirates' doable right-hander, 3.48 era, and a 20 starts to bolster their rotation among injuries. League-wide, with 22 playoff relevant teams within a 5.5 games, a frenzy finish is expected. The top trade assets include Zach Gallen, Aaron Cause, and Cedric Mullins, as to name a few. Team snapshots and injuries. We're going to have the Red Sox. Boston is shopping for starting pitching, with interest reportedly in Sandy as well, and prospects Edward Cabrera. Houston Asteroids leading the AL West, but monitoring bullpen fatigue, including Josh Hader, and debating whether to add a left-hand bat or a starter to stay elite. Mets focus on protecting top talent. They're keeping Nolan McLean, John Tong, and Jet Williams off the trading block. Right-hand pitcher Jose Bato is expected back from AL today. Rays second baseman Brandon Lowe aims to return from the AL today. Stand-ins and series outlooks. Blue Rays surging post All-Star break, 28-13 since late May. Now atop the AL East with an 84% playoff odds. Giants versus Blue Jays series. Toronto's offense and elite defense contrasts with San Francisco's road struggles and pivotal series premiere. Other highlights. Pete Alzano, star Mets first baseman, signed a 2-year, $54 million deal. In February, he's climbing franchise RBI and homer charts, earning all-star honors and delivering a 3-run shot in the Midsummer Classic. Chris Sale, Braves lefty, fastest to 2,500 Ks in history, now on the 60-day IL fractured rib after stellar all-star game selection. Tarkin Skubal, the Tigers ace, had a 13K game first in franchise history with 95 pitches, earned an All-American Player of the Week, and started the All-Star game for the AL. Corey Bellinger recently traded to the Yankees. He blasted his 200th career homer in May and had his first three-run home run game on July 11th. All right. Deadline drama, discuss Hayes, Sandy, Keller highlight, all that stuff. Let's see. What else do we have to pull up on the good old sports news? But like I said right now, with all these news going on, Major League Baseball is starting to heat up. I personally do not get too excited about Major League Baseball until we're at the end of the summer. So about August is when I really get into the Major League Baseball aspect of things. Not that I don't care for it. I just, to be fair, it's too long of a season. Give me Major League Baseball playoffs, and then I'm going to be hooked for the rest of the whole time. I'll occasionally watch, some Red Sox games, and that's about it, and just go from there. But when things get a little boring, I just don't care, and once again, it is nothing against that. I always felt that Major League Baseball is too long. 160 something games is too much. We're going to go to the Premier Lacrosse League, Fairfield University weekend. The PLL returns to Connecticut for the fourth straight year at Ruffley Stadium this weekend, July 18th to the 19th. Highlights include Friday matchups: the California Redwoods versus the New York Atlas, featuring Connecticut stars T. Darren, fourth in the PLL faceoff wins. Xander Dickinson, 11 goals. Arden Cohan, Max Kosky, Chris Fake, and Chris Cavan. Saturday doubleheader: the Boston Cannons versus Denver, followed by Maryland versus Philadelphia. All broadcasts on ESPN Plus at 8 p.m. Eastern. And Indigenous Heritage Weekend, teams honor the game's native origins with special jerseys and wooden sticks available. All right. Then 2025 season storylines for the Lacrosse League. The Maryland Whip Snakes share of the spotlight, sitting at 2-4 in the Toughies with just 4 weeks left. The Whip Snakes know they must win out to reach the playoffs. Upcoming games include head-to-head with Philadelphia, New York, and Boston, plus a cross-country game with the California Redwoods. CJ Crest's debut looms. The first overall pick of the Philadelphia Water Dogs returns from a wrist injury this weekend in Fairfield. Coaches plan to ease him into the midfield rotations rather than rushing him into an attack. Outlaws in the driver's seat. Denver continues to dominate on both ends. Jordan's 16-4, 24-22 in draws, and team balance makes them title favorites to win it all. Roster names: Dox Atkin is officially back on the New York Atlas 25-man roster, a strong face-off specialist addition. Injury report for Utah: Matt O'Keefe, left hand, is questionable. California, Sam English, ankle, and Brian Tevin, hamstring, questionable. Philly, CJ Crest, right hand, questionable. Maryland, TJ Malone, questionable. And then Denver's Alex Smith, hamstring. He is out for this string of games. Lincoln Outreach update: Street Lacrosse expanding, Cash App powered open run events added in the 2025 across Chicago, New York City, and Atlanta, part of the league's grassroots push. Chicago River activation: a floating lacrosse field on the Chicago River during the July 11 and 12 weekend. Wild fans, thanks to Whirlpool partnership. Media rights: ESPN signed a 5-year extension starting in 2026 and took a minority stake, capitalizing on a record viewership and Olympic momentum. Talking points: Fairfield event. They're going to be featuring homegrown talent, and then they're going to do a heritage themed weekend, right? You have playoff pressure. Can the Maryland Whip Snakes win out enough to get into the playoffs? That is the question. You also have you have the first overall pick making his debut. You have the fact that the Denver Outlaws have been nothing more than a balanced powerhouse performance in the Premier Lacrosse League. It's been absolutely crazy, and I think the championship potential in them is far high. But I'm a Boston Cannons guy. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Boston Cannons can put it into motion and go. And the fact that they had a floating lacrosse field in the Chicago River is wild. It's crazy. I had no clue they even had one. However, let's go to the PLL standings. Let's see where all the teams are, and then let's look at their the potential of them, making the playoffs. Okay. So we're looking at the Eastern Conference right now. New York Atlas is at 4-2. Philadelphia Water Dogs are 4-2. The Boston Cannons, my boys, they're 3-3, and then the Whip Snakes are 2-4. Okay. Then the Western Conference, you have the Denver Outlaws at 4-2, Carolina Chaos at 3-3, California Redwoods at 2-4, and Utah Archers at 2-4. All right, so let's go with their points against. Points against New York is 78-68. 74-69 for Philadelphia. Boston is 72-77. The Whip Snakes are 73-68. Outlaws are 74-62. And then Chaos is 62-77. Redwoods are 73-76. And then the Archers are 57-66. Key takeaways of this Atlas for the Eastern Conference: Atlas and the Water Dogs are tied at the top at 4-2 for conference dominance. New York edges ahead with a stronger +10 scoring differential. Right, Cannons at 3-3 are playoff mix, but need consistency to even get into the playoffs. And then you have Maryland, who are looking at a must-win games to keep their playoffs hopes even alive. It's very tight, very tight. You have 4 teams in the Eastern Conference that can make the playoffs, but only, I think, how the playoff format works, I think it's only 6 teams to go in. I have to double check that. The Western Conference, the Outlaws lead at 4-2 with the best scoring margin at a +12. Okay, you have Chaos that sits at a .500. 500 chasing it, but they're chasing us all a playoff push. The Redwoods and the Archers both are 2-4 and are fighting to stay relevant. East has a hot race from the Atlas and the Water Dogs are neck to neck. It's very important that they have a standout performance this weekend in Connecticut, where they go head to head. The west side is essentially wide open. You have the Outlaws leading the conference, but Chaos is lurking. You pair it with all these other elements going on. The West is essentially Denver's domain. They're gonna win that conference. I have a feeling, but I don't know. But for the playoff push, Cannons, Whip Snakes, Redwoods, and Archers all have to climb back somehow to be in the playoffs. Let's look at the primary lacrosse league playoff format. All right, so I was right. So the structure goes: 6 teams are qualified. The top 3 from each conference, East and West, based on regular season record. First round buys. The first seed in each conference earns a bye into the semifinals. Seeds 2 and 3 from each conference playing quarterfinals within their conference. All right, so conference brackets: quarterfinals 2 versus 3 in for the East and the West. Semifinals, top seed 1 plays the quarterfinal winners from its conference, right? And then the championship game, obviously East versus West. Schedule as of right now is that the quarterfinals is August 23rd, the TCO Stadium in Minnesota. Semifinals September 1st at Subaru Park in Chester, Pennsylvania. And then the championship game is September 14th at Sports Illustrated Stadium in Harrison, Jersey. I like the fact they're not in like the team's home stadium. They're in like neutral spots, which is kind of cool. That's one thing I like about this league. Single elimination format. Both quarterfinals and semifinals are conference only. Showdowns Only 2 teams, one per conference, ever earned the bye. Top finishers have significant advantage. So, as long as Denver keeps rolling out what he's doing, and Denver, now let's look at their schedule for the season, and I will tell you what I think they're going to fit, what each team's going to finish. Okay, so it doesn't give me the score; it just gives me the schedule here. All right. So they're doing the Connecticut weekend, right? The All Star already happened, so that was July 5th. We are the 8th. So the Connecticut weekend, right? It's New York versus California on Friday, Utah versus Carolina. This is all Friday. So Friday's New York, California at 6:30, Utah versus Carolina at 9 p.m. on for today. Tomorrow, Boston versus Denver, 1 p.m. Maryland versus Philadelphia at 6. Okay. Then week 9, July 25th to the 26th. For Friday, it's California versus Utah, 8 p.m. Maryland versus New York, which is at 10:30 p.m. Then Saturday, Philly versus Carolina at 7. Denver versus Utah, that's 9:30. And then we have a full weekend at the Peter Barton Stadium. That's August 1st to the 3rd. Doesn't have exact teams. However, in Boston, regular season finale at the Harvard Stadium during the Boston Cannons home weekend will be August 8th to the 9th. So they play, let's see here. If we don't include All-Star weekend, they play 10 games. So with that being said, I think Denver taking the West is really realistic, and I think it can they can definitely pull it off by winning the West. And I think the East is, I don't count out any of the teams in the East. Let me be honest with you. Water Dogs and Atlas are essentially going to be beating the crap out of each other for that for this first seed. So if I was in the roll of dice and give you my suggestion, I'm gonna say it's gonna be a tight, close one. But I think New York Atlas takes the East. They come the first seed. I think the Boston Cannons finish out strong. I think Maryland Whipsnakes are going to be out. I don't think they're going to win. I don't. Unfortunately, I think the Maryland Whipsnakes are going to finish 4-6 in the season. I think Boston Cannons are going to go 5-5. I think. The final record, Atlas is going to go 7-3, or maybe 8-2. I'm going to say 8-2 for Atlas. I'm going to say Water Dogs are going to go 6-4. Those are my predictions for the Eastern Conference. For the Western Conference right now, you have Denver at 4-2, Carolina 3-3, and it is a critical situation for the Redwoods and the Archers. They're both 2-4. They have to win out, so they have to win their last 4 games. They even clinch. I think. Shit. You know what? I'm just gonna go with the Redwood. I'm gonna go with Redwood. They go 5-5. They go 5-5. Carolina goes 7-3, and I think Denver goes 8-2. I think that's my concept right now. I think that's what's happening. And then the playoffs would be Atlas, Water Dogs, Cannons for the East, Outlaws, Chaos, Redwoods in the West with the. I want to say the Boston Cannons are is the dark horse in the playoffs. I think they can go quietly, run the table, and win it all. Okay, that's what I think. I also think that Atlas and the Water Dogs are very feasible to eliminate the Boston Cannons. I think the West is all Outlaws, unless Chaos manages to overcome some issues. But I'm pretty I'm pretty I'm pretty um I'm I'm pretty positive that it's all Denver. You know? Oh my god. You got you gotta love these bots make their the thing. So let's go over past champions in the Premier Lacrosse League. Okay, you have the Maryland, the first championship, because this league is like I think it was a merger where they bought out Major League Lacrosse. I don't recall how this all became a thing, but I'm pretty sure they bought out Major League Lacrosse. So in 2019 was when the league started. The Whip Snakes won the first two championships. The runner-ups were California Redwoods and the Carolina Chaos. And then in 2021, it was so the Whip Snakes made 3 championship appearances in the row, 2 of which they won. 2021, they lost to the Carolina Chaos. Carolina Chaos also did 3 appearances. They did 2020, 2021, 2022. In 2022, they lost to the Water Dogs. 2023, the Utah Archers did back-to-back. They won 23 and 24. And then interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So I don't know if this is like a mishap. Huh. Okay, I'm gonna go on the PLL site to double check something real quick on past champions. I don't know if what I'm reading is consistently updated or not. Do you hate when you look something up and you something is very questionable and you're like, I have to take a look at this one. That's essentially what just happened to me. Because depending where you get your information right. Right. Okay. Let's see if this was right about the stand-ins too. Yep. Okay. All right. So I was right about the stand-ins and how everything was being met. So I find this interesting. So there's 10 teams, right? So New York Atlas plays in Albany, obviously Charlotte, Philly, Baltimore, Redwoods play in San Diego, and then you have Chicago, Fairfield, Salt Lake City, Denver, and Boston, right? These are all the locations of where the teams play. And then Chicago, though, is confusing because there is no Chicago team. So that's where it gets a little interesting. There's no Chicago team, but they host an event in the Chicago River. They also have throwback uniforms, by the way, which I find to be quite fun. I like the way they have the logos on the helmets. It looks cool. That's my personal opinion. Trying to find the history of this league, and it's like pulling teeth to find it. You know, it's funny. I've been an avid lacrosse fan. I do like lacrosse. I was a big Major League Lacrosse fan. I was probably one of the very few that really follow it. Like I was hooked, man. It was like one of my favorite sports. I never, what's funny? I never played it. It was just not my thing. I like to watch it. I saw a friend get his Achilles get freaking destroyed. Broke his shin too. It was horrible. All right, so here we go. So we have 10 teams in the East and the West. Okay, so I was right. They bought out the Major League. All right, okay. All right. So the Archers went back to back 2023-24. I'm still going to say that the Boston Cannons have a good chance of winning it. I think they're going to be the surprise winners of the 2025 Premier Lacrosse League Championship. That's how I feel about it. Will it happen? I don't know. I can't tell you. I can tell you who I think they're going to be playing in the West. I want to say it's going to be Denver, but let's play the hypothetical here. What if the Utah Archers? I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. So let me clarify that. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But let's say they do. Let's say for some strange, mysterious circumstance, they pull the Cinderella story, win out over Redwoods, and then it's the Boston Cannons versus the Utah Archers in the championship. That'd be crazy. I don't think that'll happen. But they do have a thing called the Championship Series, which is it's a little bit different. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the Championship Series. It's the Championship Series is something different. It is so the PLL Championship Series is the annual winter lacrosse tournament in the lacrosse sixes format, and it's 6 against 6 rather than 9 against 9, excluding goalies. And then the way it goes is you play it. It's like a weird championship series, and the last two, the Boston Cannons have won back-to-back championship series, which they. So just so you know, they count that as your championship run. So I think my information was based off the championship series and not based off of the actual PLL season championship, which is actually pretty funny. So, but I think that's what it was before they had like a league championship game, which has only been 4 champions, I'm assuming. Which is okay. Here it is. Well, prices for the championship game ticket-wise is only $29. That's actually not that bad. Well, if you guys want to watch some amazing, like I said, amazing professional lacrosse play, I would check this out. So, Harrison, New Jersey, at the Sports Illustrated Stadium, for starting at $29, you can go watch a professional sport league play. I need to find out when is the game. September 14th. You know what? Why not? Why not? I will buy tickets to this game, which is Sunday, September 14th, 2025, and I will do a live broadcast, a special Sunday morning version of this, and I'll cover the PLL championship game for you guys. Not only will I do a morning special version of the Morning Blitz Sports Talk on the road, but I'll also do a live special afternoon presentation called the Afternoon Blitz Special, which will cover the actual game, which starts at 12:30 p.m. And I will do a post-game thing later on that night after the game to tell you how I personally feel about the game and all that good stuff. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think we're gonna have fun. I'm also gonna do the Baltimore Ravens Patriots game this year, which is December 21st. I'm also gonna do. I'm gonna try to squeeze in as much professional sports as I can and do on the road things. I think it'll be fun. It'll be different for the channel and all that. But I have to go, guys. But either way, see you guys tomorrow morning for episode 5. On the Hardcore Sports Network. I am AJ. This is the Morning Blitz. You guys have a great day.